Scorpio, welcome to a video on the transit of Jupiter through the sign of Aries, which as I record this is starting today, May 10th, 2022. And there is going to be a retrograde and a dip back into Pisces, a fellow water sign, which has been there for the past year. And that is your fifth house. So what's going to happen, I'll just get this out of the way because I know I'll forget it, is that Jupiter's going to be in Aries until the 28th of July, and it's going to start to retrograde. But it takes time for it to get back into Pisces. So it's going to be October 28th, I believe, that it goes back into Pisces, goes direct on November 23rd, and then back into Aries on December 20th. Until sometime in 2023, I think it might be May 16th or something like that, which is interesting because I'm recording this before the May 16th lunar eclipse in Scorpio. I wonder if there's some connection there that some connection between you having an eclipse on the 16th and Jupiter going into Taurus, your opposite sign, exactly a year from then. But anyway, so this is taking place in the 6th house when Jupiter is in Aries. And this is an Earth house. This is Virgo's house in the universal template of the astrological wheel. So the 6th house deals with all things health related, work related, and schedule related. Also, pets are included in this house for some reason. Seems like out of left field to me. But so how this can play out, because we know that Jupiter is this great benefic, which is boosting the area that it inhabits for however length of time, is that it expands this area. This means that if you have been having trouble finding employment, Scorpio, for whatever reason, this might be a time when jobs are not hard to come by for you, and that you actually might have more on your plate work-wise than you have in a while. And so the great thing about that is that if you don't like what you're doing, you can quit and you might find something right away. Don't take what I just said to say, oh, Raina said to quit. I'm going to turn in my pink slip tomorrow, or whatever you want to call it. And I know I'm going to get a job, and then come back to me in a week. You told me I was going to get work. No, obviously you have to have something lined up. Don't just, that's an important thing to note, that Jupiter can make people overly optimistic. And that can be in all areas of life. So even if your health improves, don't take your health for granted. And for some people, an improvement in health might be aligning with the right health practitioner. So there might be something that you have to do. It's not like your health just magically improves, but you find the right person for you. In terms of the 6th house in work, I call it service to others, because I feel that it's a much more spiritual type of way of looking at things. And with Jupiter, well, I just want to say, when we talk about work, what differentiates the 6th house from the 10th house of career? That has always been kind of a bugaboo for me. But I always say that the 10th house is the glory. And it's kind of like, because that's your reputation, that is what people, your calling card to the world, your accomplishments, And the 6th house is the grunt work, or just the work itself. So what type of work are you doing? And do you like what you're doing? This can, make work enjoyable for you. This can be something where it's not drudgery to you. Even if you have a job instead of a career, even if you're working retail and it's not what you want to do forever, you might land a job where you like the people you work with, you like the hours, it's pleasant, it pays well or relatively well. So these kinds of things. You might get a raise when Jupiter's in the sixth house, even with your current employer, because Jupiter can bring money just like Venus can. So it's so funny because lately I've been just talking about these things myself, and I haven't even been looking at cafeastrology.com where I'm supposed to be getting all my information from. So there you go. It just shows you that I have a few thoughts in my head. Yeah, they talk about coworkers, employees. I guess you can be the head honcho and have employees with the sixth house. And that's kind of what I was talking about, finding more pleasure in the work that you're doing and the people that you work with or who work for you. Maybe they can hook you into up with something else. Like if you are looking for a second job and your coworker says, "Hey, I got this going on," and they help you with that. Now, one of the things that they say that is very interesting is talking about the idea of integrity. And this is associated with Jupiter and the ninth house because this is the house of the God house. And so ethical living would be part of this. That's what I assume that they're talking about here. So they're really talking about kind of this karmic situation going on where the more ethical you are, the more good juju you have coming to you. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing. And they even talk about putting on weight. They said if you have a sweet tooth, if you don't watch your sweet tooth, and that's how they put it. This is because the two houses where they talk about gaining weight are the first and the sixth houses. One, because the first house has to do with the body itself, and the sixth house with one's health. Now, I personally, I remember reading someplace that when they were talking about the first house, and I assume this would apply to the sixth house, that Jupiter can also help with diet. Like especially if you've already started a diet, that Jupiter can, make you more, positive about what you're doing. And I would say the same thing with the sixth house, where you find the perfect diet. But the thing is, I don't really like to even say diet. I would say eating style. Because when you talk about diet and you make it like, oh, I'm just trying to lose weight, then it's kind of like temporary and then you go back and forth. But if you just change your habits altogether, then it's going to be something that you can do consistently for the rest of your life. And even if you have some days where you don't follow your eating style 100%, you don't completely fall off the wagon. You just, because it's the long haul. It's not just, I want to lose, 50 pounds in 2 months. But it's like this gradual and consistent action. By the way, this is another thing that is kind of connected to that in terms of the time management that the sixth house can represent. Because what this can entail is a person who is really trying to make their life work on all levels. So if you really are trying to change your life, Scorpio, and I think that you might be, because again, there is this lunar eclipse coming up as I record this in a few days on May 16th. And this is going to be in your first house. This is going to be in that house of the body. So, oh, and in addition to that, on October 25th, there's going to be a solar eclipse at 2 degrees of Scorpio, which will be a new beginning again in that first house in your sign. So the idea of kind of reinventing yourself, the phoenix rising from the ashes theme, this can be present at that time. And so in that interim, between May and October, you have this opportunity with Jupiter in the 6th house to, and that's actually going to be the length of time that Jupiter is in the sign of Aries. And I guess that's about 5 months. That you have the opportunity to really work on your health, work on your nutrition, and that can help your body in some way. And it doesn't have to be losing weight, it might be something else. And even like a workout routine, that can be part of your health too, obviously, and the 6th house. So very, very interesting. It's a practical area, it's a tangible area. That's the thing we have to remember about Earth energy is that, the results are to be seen. They're not theoretical, abstract, invisible. They are in the flesh. And so that the Jupiter benefit can come in a very noticeable way, in other words. So I think I covered everything. And they did mention on Cafe Astrology that you might be adding a pet to your household. So there you go. With Jupiter, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a litter. So anyway, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double readings. Double the pleasure, because I had to extend my readings in order to not go over the allotted time that I was doing right and left. And it's worked out so well for me. I offer a discount if you buy the package of 2 chart readings, one being the natal chart interpretation, and then the other, they're each an hour long, and then the other one is the transits, important transits for the coming 12 months. So there's no time constriction there. It can be whatever, the next 12 months. And that's called the Deep Dive, perfect for Scorpios. Then I have for people who like the tarot, I have like a choice of natal chart interpretation or transits, along with a full-length tarot reading called the Whole Enchilada. And that's also for a special price. And then I have standalone readings. You can find out more information at the link below. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.